Welcome to the Bison Brothers Basketball Podcast, your number one for all things Howard basketball. My name is Chip Washington, your self-appointed Bison basketball fanatic.
What's up, family? It's your boy Brian B. Smooth Foston, still the lover of all things Howard and the lover of all things basketball. It's good to see everybody tonight. Ewash, man, we missed you, bro.
What's up, man? I'm trying to not spontaneously combust over here today.
as we bring the welcome back theme. Welcome back,
right.
Ewash.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Missed you for a while. We missed you for a while. So good to see you, man. So since we missed you for a while, tell the people where you been, man.
Okay, that is an excellent question. And all I can think about is telling you what you did on my summer vacation.
well, hold up. Before you get into that, we want to tell the people.
Okay.
We want to tell the people why we're here.
Excellent point.
And the reason that we are here. And so, Bison Nation, you know, as always, we're here to tell you to support these championship teams. Support the women's team, support the men's team. And you can do that in so many ways. So many ways. You can donate to the Mecca Society. That is Howard's Name, Image, and Likeness Collective. You can do that by going to the meccasociety.org. You can also donate to the athletics department and through the Bison Express Booster Club at hubison.com. And as you've already watched the episode, you know we have a new partner that you can donate to and support the athletes, and that is FanStake. You can do that by going to fanstake.com and using the code MECCA25. And I'm sure our guest today will tell us a little bit more about that partnership. And so there's so many ways to support this team. And Bison Nation, don't forget, please continue to tell everybody about this podcast. You can hear us just about anywhere. You can hear us on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and you can interact with us on Instagram at Bison Brothers Basketball. So continue to tell everybody about the podcast and just share the love. And Be Smooth, do you want to talk about the challenge that we got out there to Bison?
We can talk about a challenge. Absolutely. So by the time you hear this one, we'll be well on our way. We've been doing pretty well so far, Chip. Each week we have more and more viewers. We hit a nice little milestone of 50,000 hours of people viewing our channel on YouTube. 50,000 just a few days ago before we taped this episode. And we hit over 200 subscribers, all Bison fans. So we're building it one kind of fan at a time. So we have a challenge that before the end of the summer, we want to have 500 subscribers. And before the beginning of the season, we want 1,000 Bison Nation fans following the podcast. And so you'll hear more about it. Check out our Instagram site. You'll hear about it on our episodes. But we want to make sure we get every Bison that's in the herd accounted for on the podcast. So 500 before the end of the summer, 1,000 before the beginning of the season. And we're going to do what we got to do. This is fun. This is why we do it.
That's what's up.
No doubt. And so Ewash, since your fans have been clamoring for your return.
Yeah.
You know, we missed you the past few episodes. Tell us about your summer. Where you been and what you been doing?
Okay. So first of all, I have to go in my dad's bag and say it's a poor frog that don't praise his own pond. Right? So why am I saying this? Because I've been spending my summer taking my collegiate football prospect high school student to football camps.
Outstanding.
We visited the great historic Tuskegee University.
Okay.
We visited Alabama State University. I'm going to shout out Coach Eddie Robinson. But we saved the best for last. And we were at the Mecca last weekend for Coach Larry Scott's big man camp for college prospects for high. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Strategist.
The story's getting better. The story's getting better. When you got to the Howard part, it got much better.
Oh my God. Yes. Awesome, man. Definitely want to shout the coach out. And I have to go on ahead and do it since he told me personally, we're looking for you to follow up and be on the show, Coach. You said you would do that. So just putting it on out there.
Shout out to Coach Larry Scott. It was
an awesome experience. And it was their inaugural big man camp. So we, made a little history. This is the first time they had a big man camp at their football camp. So
fantastic.
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. And, like we were saying in the green room, it's pretty cool to, walk around and, kind of see all the memories, but it was even cooler to see the changes, a theme for today, to see the improvements, to see what's different, all of those things were really great, man. And I just, to take it all in and to be doing it with my child, man, you got 2 kids there, right?
2 graduates.
Yeah, man. So, you a veteran on this here, man, but I was beside myself, man. They had me at hello. Yes.
you look kind of excited there.
I was excited, man. I was giving somebody business that wouldn't help me take that picture at first either, but yeah. And I ran into some people. I think I shared this with Chip. I ran into some people that let me know that our work is not in vain. Yes.
Tell us.
I ran into the one and only Bryce Harris while I was charging my phone in the Burr.
Wait a minute. I might have some evidence.
Hey, whatever you want to say, man.
Yes.
What's going on, y'all? Hey, y'all gonna be seeing me soon on Bison Brothers podcast.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Me soon for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce, appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward. Glad you're coming back, man.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah,
there
man.
It is.
Yeah, man. Yeah, y'all doing some good work, man. You could have knocked me over with a feather. I was trying to get my little story together. I'm like, oh, that's him. I was not cool at all.
I can't imagine you not being cool, E. I can't imagine that.
I was like, oh, what's up, man? Blah, 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 blah. I said, I know this is gonna sound crazy, man, but my brother and his friend, we got a podcast for the. He said, oh, Bison Brothers. I said, look at here. Yes.
Love it.
It was awesome, man. It was like even my child who tried to throw me some shade because he's a teenager. He's like, don't embarrass me out here, Dad. Don't embarrass me. I said, I'm trying real hard not to do that, but you don't understand how exciting this is. But you can't just admit it was a little cool that he knew the show and everything. He said, yeah, it was all cool, but be gone.
I love it.
I'm here to put some work in. So I slinked on off and did something else. Yeah, man. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was
I'm glad.
Awesome, man.
Sounds like a really good trip, man. I'm glad you're back on the show. We love the cameos. You definitely bring in the excitement that we always look forward to. You are what's good for basketball.
Oh, appreciate that, sir. Appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited about this guest too.
I
mean, oh my God. He not only is he what's good for basketball, not only is he what's good for Howard basketball specifically, but he embodies the fact that in a lot of ways, Howard is ahead of the curve on all of the things that we're talking about. So
that's a tease.
Strong day, man. Strong day.
Is a great tease. And we appreciate that, Ewash. And with that tease, why don't we introduce our guest.
And he was raised right because he passed the Richard Pryor test too.
Yeah, shout out to Minnie Pearl for you wearing your tag on your shirt like that, bro.
Yeah.
So since today's guest is on the coaching staff, and so with the players, you know, we've brought a few highlights of the players as we introduce them. And so in that same vein, as we introduce our next guest, we're gonna play a few highlights of our next guest. So in 2022,
whoa,
Howard
what are we doing here? What are we doing? What's that move?
Skills.
What is that move?
That house video with them kids.
Hey,
So we have Mr. Daniel Marx, who's the program's first ever chief program strategist. In his role at Howard, Daniel focuses on growth in all areas of the program, including basketball operations, community alumni engagement, NIL issues, and long-range development. This position is an important step in helping Howard stay forward-thinking as new trends in college athletics continue to emerge. Now, before Howard, Daniel Marx spent 9 seasons with the Milwaukee Bucks. And with the Bucks, Daniel served as manager of prospect information, preparing collegiate scouting responsibilities for the general manager and assistant manager, along with his own regional scouting at the NBA, G League, and NCAA levels. As part of the Bucks front office that took the team from 15 wins in 2013 and 2014 to the 2021 NBA championship, Daniel Marx was involved with all areas of the Bucks basketball operations department, not just scouting, but also salary cap analysis, intel gathering, draft prep, and G League operations. Beyond his work in basketball, and this is just one of the organizations that he's been affiliated with, Marx founded Scouting and Scavenging, SNS, in early 2020 to encourage sports professionals now from over 120 programs, pro to prep, to collect unused hotel toiletries from their travels for underserved communities. This was featured in many media outlets, and SNS has donated over 2,500 pounds of supplies, mostly via its partnership with the Newark, New Jersey Food Relief Program, which was run by none other than Bison alum, Newark Mayor Raz J. Baraka, our classmate, and the chief of staff of Miri Baraka, also classmate. And one other little tidbit, Miri Baraka was the head coach of our new transfer, Destiny Bynum Johnson, on the women's team.
Wow.
So look, we could go on and on about Daniel and his contributions to the Mecca, but this is why we have him on the show. And so without further ado, we'll bring Mr. Daniel Marx to the stage in the true Bison fashion, which with those dance moves that he showed earlier, I'm sure he'll appreciate this introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
Rumble, young man, rumble.
Hey. We're gonna try those moves.
No, I think we got more than enough with the introduction video. You guys can take it from here.
I don't know. That first move was a doozy. That was awesome.
That was
my man, Daniel.
That was quite. You guys pulled quite a range of videos for that introduction. Very impressed.
I know you were sitting there shaking your head like,
"What?" Filmed at the Burr, so
that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, man, we gonna be your Boondini Brown. Rumble, young man, rumble.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
But we're really, really excited and honored, Daniel, to have you come on the show. And we appreciate you taking a little bit of your time and coming on. And like I said, there's so many avenues we want to explore with you. It's hard to even know where to start. But just as a beginning question, tell Bison Nation kind of how you fell in love with basketball and when did you know I can make a career in basketball?
So I fell in love at a pretty early age. My parents had like one of those little Fisher Price hoops set up when I was a kid. So I was playing on that thing all the time. I was playing, at the park, rec leagues, ever since I can remember. I was born in DC, and then we moved to New Jersey when I was 9. And my dad grew up a Knicks fan. But when we moved to New Jersey, the Nets were really bad, and they sold season tickets for $300. You could get one ticket for $300 for all 41 games.
Oh.
So we would buy 2 season tickets for $600, and they came with these all-access passes, so you could get there early and go watch warm-ups from the lower level. And they never sold out, even when they were really good. So what we would do is we just stay, down in the lower level, and that was with Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin and Richard Jefferson. They made the finals back-to-back years. So I became a real diehard fan then. Unfortunately, as I got older, I realized my dreams of playing in the NBA were not, or even college, were not going to take place. So when I got to college, my 2 passions are sports and politics. So I was looking at avenues down both of those. There was an email sent back at the time. Facebook was way more popular among like college students than it is now. Now it's more so, I'd say, Instagram and TikTok. But there was a Facebook group for all the freshmen at Vanderbilt, and the head manager of the team, a guy by the name of Sam Ferry, sent a message in that Facebook group saying they were looking for managers. And I didn't go into college wanting to be a manager, but I was like, this sounds interesting. We had lunch. I became a manager part-time. That led to an internship at Dime Magazine the summer after my freshman year. Became a full-time manager my sophomore through senior years, and did a couple different internships. Interned with Cory Booker when he was the mayor of Newark in 2012.
Oh, yeah.
And was a bit turned off by the slow grind of city government. It was just not what I wanted to be doing, spending my days, but I still follow politics very closely, very passionate about it. But I realized at that point that I wanted to pursue a career in sports. And when I was interning at Dime Magazine in 2010, that was 15 years ago, the summer that LeBron left Cleveland for Miami. And that was a big NBA storyline. And I wrote a story for Dime that I thought the Bucks had an underrated offseason. And that was like re-signing John Salmons, drafting Larry Sanders, signing Drew Gooden. It ended up not being a great offseason, but the story got picked up by the Twitter account for the Bucks. And the GM of the team, John Hammond, reached out to me about that story, thinking I was like some up-and-coming writer, not a college intern freshman. But his daughter's best friend turned out to be in my class at Vanderbilt, and we had a couple NBA players on the roster. So we just kind of stayed in touch. And when an opportunity opened up after I graduated to intern with them, that's kind of when I really realized that I could make a career out of basketball.
Wow. See, that already, man, I have such a great feeling about you. One, because you seem like you already got guru status, man. For real. And what that means is, you seem to be able to connect dots in all kind of like sports arenas. See, one of the things when I was prepping for the show that I got really excited about, and my brother's gonna hate me saying this, is when I found out you went to Vanderbilt. I said, oh, this is gonna be a layup for me. I was like, wow, I think about all the things I could ask him. One, because I'm from Chicago, right? So the first thing that popped in my mind, even though it's no fault of your own, was Jay Cutler.
I thought you were going to say Will Perdue.
I forgot about him. Oh, thanks, see, guru. That's a guru move right there.
That was who I thought you were going to say. Jay Cutler was like a little before I got there, maybe like 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I even went in my bag and pulled out Earl Bennett since we closed.
Oh yeah. Earl's back. He has a very similar role to my one with Athletics now. He's
that's awesome.
I forget his title, but like general manager of strategic something or other.
Okay. Very cool, man. And then like the other 6 degrees of separation for me was, I was like, wow, man, I'm also a Tar Heel fan, right? And I think Hubert Davis is still kind of on the hot seat. And when I read, I think it was in a Fayetteville newspaper, that part of their issues with him is that he did not have a strategist for the men's basketball team. And I thought to myself, wow. So you've been there longer and they still haven't filled the position at Chapel.
They did fill it. They hired Jim Tanner, who was a
but he doesn't have the same title as you though.
It's a different title. Yeah, there's director of player personnel, there's general managers, there's chief strategists. There a lot of the job responsibilities are similar, but different programs have different names. But Jim was a longtime NBA agent representing Allen and John Morant. Yeah. So I was like, look at my man Daniel over here. He's a trailblazer for the Bison.
And so that's a good kind of a segue question. So since your position at Howard was a new position, how would you describe kind of, your vision of what the position was, and has it changed a little bit now that you've been here for 3 years, but kind of describe what that position is or was when you first got it and how it's evolved now?
Yeah, so I worked in the NBA for 9 years. As you meant, you kind of covered all of the different things that I did. And then after we won the championship in 2021, I was kind of looking for a change. And I saw all of these things happening in college athletics with athlete activism, with NIL, with the transfer portal. And I thought it would just be a really good opportunity to expand my skill set and find a new challenge. So I talked to a number of different programs. I've always loved DC as a city, so I was targeting kind of programs on the East Coast, DC being, among them, GW, Georgetown. If you told me Howard was going to be where I ended up, I would have been like, I don't think so. But I got connected to Coach Blakeney through one of our former G League players for the Bucks, Kyle Casey, who played for him at Harvard. And we connected prior to the Final Four in 2022 in New Orleans and exchanged some messages. And we were supposed to meet for lunch on a Friday. And Coach actually never responded to my text about where the location for lunch was. So I was like, all right, whatever. Not a big deal. He had something come up. So then the next day, it's the Duke UNC game. And I'm on the concourse at the Superdome, and I run into Kyle and Coach Blakeney. And Coach Blakeney, it put 2 and 2 together. He's like, oh, we got to meet. We got to, we got to connect. So the next morning we had breakfast together, and it turned into a 4-hour meeting. We went for a walk around New Orleans, ate, chatted in the lobby of his hotel just about his vision for the Dream Factory and what he wanted Howard basketball to become. And it really resonated with me and kind of all of my areas of interest, doing things that haven't been done before, civic engagement in the community, using basketball to give back, being in DC. So it was there. So after that meeting, I went home after the Final Four, and I told my parents about it. And I was like, I really am convinced that working for this guy would be the best step in my career. There was only 2 problems. They didn't have a position open. And my parents were like, you're going to leave the NBA to go work at Howard? And they weren't the only ones to say that. It was, it ended up being where the director of operations left about a month and a half after my first conversation with Coach Blakeney. And we kind of stayed in touch. And he was like, I want to reimagine the ops role into kind of this strategy role. And he said, he wants Howard to be a very forward-thinking program where schools look at Howard and say, we want to do that ourselves. So kind of the creation of that position was part of that, broader vision that Coach had for the program. So I was, he offered me the job in mid-June, and I accepted the job. The only problem was I didn't have a written offer. I didn't have an email from HR. I didn't have any paperwork. So I didn't want to leave the Bucks until I saw something in writing. And I had kind of let my boss know I was in the mix, but I didn't want to say I took the job, because if you know, for whatever reason, there's a hiring freeze or there's something that comes up, like I didn't want to. Right. So it ended up being where like mid-July, I went out to Vegas Summer League and I kind of told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to accept this job, you know, and starting in August. But at that time, I still hadn't gotten a contract or an at-will agreement or anything from the university. So I'm like, wow, I'm telling him this because it was going to be, you know, the NBA schedule is like free draft, free agency, summer league, and then the league kind of shuts down for like 6 weeks. Everyone catches their breath, goes on vacation. So I was working remote in New Jersey at the time, and I knew I wasn't going to see the GM, John Horst, you know, for the next few weeks. So I was like, you know, I'll try to have a conversation in person with him. We ended up missing each other in Vegas, but I just, you know, kind of let him know before he went off on vacation, and I, you know, did the same thing. And but I was scared shitless to be I'm like, I just left this job I've had for 9 years to take a job at Howard, and I still don't have the paperwork. And my parents were like, are you actually getting hired? Like, where is this? Like, I've never seen anything like this. And I was like, I can't, like, what am I, like, this is crazy. And then like finally got some paperwork like towards the end of July and saw like, okay, you know, formally apply, do this and that. And then like was hired probably like August 10th or 11th or whatever. But it was, you know, I've come to learn that I'm far from the only one that's had that experience in terms of navigating the HR processes. But it was quite an, I was so excited. And so like when he offered the job, I was so ready to kind of take it on in the challenge. And then that 6 weeks from offer till actually getting the letter was like so nerve wracking.
We apologize.
Daniel, man, we appreciate you really coming on, great. Man. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun.
Indeed. So, hey, Bison Nation, continue to support these championship teams, support Daniel, KB, Steve, Rod, the whole coaching staff, Mel, Ty Grace, and everybody. We thank you for coming. And so, you know, you've been watching the show. You know how we're going to end this right now. And the call to action, of course, continue to support this podcast. But we're going to end this show with the great Daniel Marx, like we end all of our shows. You know.
That's kind of a long, winding way of how I ended up at Howard, and almost ended up at Howard a couple times, you know, with Coach missing the lunch and then with the, you know, so.
Hey, if